A bossy guy walks into a bar and orders everyone around. Hey folks, welcome to This Week in History. Let's do it to it. On September 13th of 1782, a joint force of French and Spanish troops launched the unsuccessful Grand Assault during the Great Siege of Gibraltar during the American Revolution. By the way, the Great Siege actually lasted from 1779 to 1783, and the British held on. Speaking of the British, in 1814, British troops failed to capture the city of Baltimore during the War of 1812. It was during this battle that Francis Scott Key composed the defense of Fort McHenry, which eventually became the Star-Spangled Banner. Yeah, check out that eye up there. On September 14th at 786, we had the Night of Three Caliphs, where for part of one night, three men who would be caliph were alive. Harun al-Rashid, who became the Abbasid Caliph upon the death of his brother, al-Hadai. Oh, and Harun's son, future Caliph, al-Mamun, was born. In 1752, the British Empire skipped 11 days when it adopted the Gregorian calendar. So yeah, the calendar literally went from September 2nd to September 14th. Tad bit of a jaunt there. On September 15th of 1440, Gilles de Rais, French noble and serial killer, was arrested after accusations were made against him. He was eventually found guilty of murder and hanged. We know he had at least 140 victims, but we're pretty sure he had a lot more than that. In 1835, Charles Darwin arrived at the Galapagos Islands aboard the HMS Beagle, an island where he collected quite a bit of evidence for his forming, or evolving if you will, theory of evolution. On September 16th in 1810, the Grito de Dolores, or Cry of Dolores, occurred when Father Miguel Hidalgo had his church bells rang, preaching for independence to the crowd that gathered outside, and this began Mexico's fight for independence from Spain. It's recreated every year, and September 16th is Mexican Independence Day. In 1893, settlers partake in the largest of 4 land runs in the Cherokee Strip of Oklahoma. For a pretty good example of how it went down, check out the movie Far and Away. On September 17th of 1630, the city of Boston, Massachusetts was founded. It gained its name after the town in Lincolnshire that many of the settlers came from. A quick reminder here to check out our merch store, Patreon, Facebook, and Twitter. All those links are down in the description. On September 18th at 324, Constantine the Great defeated Lysenius at the Battle of Chrysopolis, becoming the sole ruler of the Roman Empire. In 1180, 15-year-old Philip II became king of the Franks. He's special here because he decided 10 years later to change his title, becoming the first person to be proclaimed the King of France. Oh, and he fought in the Third Crusade along with Richard the Lionheart. On September 19th in 1846, 2 French shepherd children witnessed a vision of the Virgin Mary on a mountainside near La Lecette, France, an event known as Our Lady of Lecette. The claims are that she warned them to keep the Sabbath holy, to respect the name of God, and also warned of punishment in the form of rotting potatoes and famine, as well as wheat and pretty much anything else that they grew. And if rotting potatoes and famine makes you think of the Irish potato famine, well, yeah, it kind of started a little bit before this whole vision may or may not have taken place. You know, you never know. In 1944, the Battle of Hurtgen Forest began, lasting until December 16th and becoming the longest battle the U.S. Army has ever fought. You typically don't hear much about it because it happened right before the Battle of the Bulge. And birthdays, we've got the Roman Emperor that oversaw the empire's largest expansion, Trajan, in 53, race car driver and motor company founder Walter Owen Bentley in 1888, and as we mentioned earlier, Mexico was technically born this week back in 1810, so happy birthday, Mexico. And it looks like that's just gonna about do it. We'll see you back here next week. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. Be kind, be happy, and most of all, be careful.